in America, citizens have to think about their place in history, that your place in history is not determined for you by where you're born or who your parents are, but that you make your own place in history as an American. So if you write speeches, especially for a president, your goal is not to become an expert on every subject. You work with experts on every subject. Your goal is to become somebody who sort of could talk about it for 5 minutes. And if you learn too much, sometimes you lose sight of what's interesting. One way to think about it is, I forget who coined the phrase, but there's this concept of ladders of meaning. So at the very bottom of the ladder is very basic details, and at the very top of the ladder is big values.
So ladders of meaning, is this, tell me what you mean, like where did that come from?
I actually don't remember. A former boss of mine, Vinca LaFleur, used to talk about it, because she would say, if you look at a lot of good speeches, everything exists on either the lowest or the highest rungs. They're either very specific personal details or big, meaningful values. So, I mean, one of my favorite speeches is the speech that Martin Luther King delivered the night before he was shot. And he talks about surviving an assassination attempt where a woman, a deranged woman, stabbed him with a letter opener. And he says, you know, it almost got to his heart, and doctors told him that if he had sneezed, he would have died. And this got out in the press, and he got a letter from, I think it was a 9-year-old white girl who said, "I'm glad you didn't sneeze." And then he goes on this long run where he's talking about all the progress that the civil rights movement has made since that time. But he prefaces everything with saying, I too am glad I didn't sneeze, because if I had sneezed, I wouldn't have been able to tell you all about a dream that I had. And so he's connecting this very, very meaningless moment, a sneeze, with these incredibly important national events.
Break that one down a little bit. Connect that to this ladders of meaning.
So in other words, he's talking about either the lowest rung, these very mundane, everyday things, sneezing.
But also that sneezing is related to a super high stakes thing.
Exactly.